Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm Stephen Englander, and this is your Thursday evening treat with Between the Spreadsheets. Tonight I'm going to be talking about meatballs, but before I do that, I want to, I was asked to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving for our American viewers, but I don't really want to encourage American viewers. That's okay, isn't it, Hayden? Tonight also, you might notice we don't have Graham with us because being the lazy twat he is, he's pretending to be ill and he's not coming in, and he's focusing a lot on wearing his short trousers, and that's all he can tell me, that he's coming in, he's wearing short trousers, and it reminds me of him every time he puts, of me every time he puts them on.
Shameful.
Well, this is, he is, but you know, things have gone a lot smoother tonight, haven't they?
It's been lovely and calm, nice and peaceful, no high-pitched shrieking.
No. The electricity's been working, the cameras have been working, you know, and you know how it normally takes a couple of hours. We did it in 5 minutes, didn't we?
That's because we just went for coffee instead.
We did.
Yeah,
we did. You know, and I spilt the coffee all over me. Meatballs. I just want to mention this because, you know, we've opened our new studio, and it's also an event centre, and I need some chairs. So if anybody's got a job lot of chairs they want to donate, or they know where I can get some decent chairs from, let me know. But because I'm struggling to find them, years ago when I used to buy this type of thing, they were dirt cheap, and now you can't get them, and they want ridiculous money for them. So, I thought, well, let me go to Ikea and see what Ikea have got. And Ikea are about the cheapest ones for chairs, but they look a bit uncomfortable. So, when I need about 80, 90 of them, I don't really want people to be uncomfortable. I've got to spend that amount of money. I always feel that Ikea's stuff is crap anyway. And I got lost in the place because they blocked off this aisle and that aisle. They don't make it very, very customer friendly, which I don't think is a good idea. However, what I do like, because all these places always have a redeeming feature, I do like their meatballs. So I ate a load of them. Probably 2 plates full, and then got ill. So my Melanie has now found out the recipe, and she's making Ikea meatballs that are kosher, but they taste just as nice, just the same, and they're better for me. So, thank you. There's also, I just wanted to mention that across the world, there seems to be this movement towards staying local and shopping local. And I think that's a great idea. I think I'm not going to go into the environmental reasons why it's a good idea, but I think life is made up of communications with people, relationships with people, and even sometimes walking into a shop where people know your name and know what you like. It's great. I mean, I remember as a kid going to the local newsagent. I used to like my Marvel comics, and I'm like 11, 12, and the owner of the shop said to me once when I went in, "Oh, there's a new Marvel comic. I put it away for you," and I felt all warm inside. So like there's this campaign going on. In particular, there's a new one in Stockport, which is being fronted by Will Mellor. You might remember him from Coronation Street and a few of the soaps, and he's heading this campaign to get people in Stockport to stay local and shop at the local businesses. And I think that's great if we could get people championing local communities, local community shops all over the country. And I thought in the meantime, Will, I want to wish you the best of luck with it. And if you need any help or think I can be useful to you, then please come along and let me know. We'll see what we can do. Just going back to what I've got written down here, we were. I saw a comment that Gen Z, just to be clear, that's people that are born in the from the year 2000 onwards, and they seem to think that crypto will make them millionaires. So it's a recent study that of questioning, people of that age group think, oh, I'll invest in crypto and it'll make me a millionaire. We were talking about that before, weren't we? Because I was going to say that it was, those deluded millennials, not millennials, Generation Zs, and it's a sort of cop-out for actually doing anything that can make money. I think you corrected me, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, there are people that make, we always hear about the ones that make huge sums of money. There are people that make a very reasonable living, or at least in addition to the living off crypto. Yeah. My neighbor has just today had a helium harvester. It looked like a big stick with a pipe on the end bolted to the back of his house, but apparently It harvests the helium out of the air because there's a lack of helium in the world now. We don't have as much as we used to. And it collects it, and that's tied to the helium coin.
Yeah.
Which apparently is worth £35 a pop.
Wow, but that's a bit like the old gold reserves, isn't it? Where coins, where currency was backed by a gold reserve.
Yeah, something tangible.
Something tangible that's got a value. So if all else dropped, well, at least you own the gold. And
if all else drops, at least you've still got the helium.
Well, you'll always
you can squeak to your heart's content.
Yeah,
and
but
happy.
Hayden, you and I will always have gas behind us. Whatever
I
happens.
never have a problem with gas.
No, everybody else has that problem
Yes.
with your gas, don't they? But crypto is one of those areas that I've never liked. But when you look at it in a different way, as long as that crypto is backed by something of substance, then why not? I mean, Bitcoin isn't really backed by anything except that lots of people own it and they don't want it to lose value. But there are things like Ethereum, because that's actually, even though it has no value in itself because it's backed by something, it's got value because it's used in a lot of places. So it's not just a way to hold money. It's actually got a use. So they'll need it in order to play these games or to make that happen or that happen. I'm not an expert on cryptocurrency. And why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because experience has taught me, if you ever want to know which coin you should not be investing in, ask Stephen and myself.
Yes.
What we've developed our portfolio.
But you say that, but Shibu, we put.
Yeah, the one I
we've
suggested
tripled
has
in
indeed
value.
tripled our investment.
And the other one that I bought has also tripled. What was it? It was the it was another one.
I think that's a bit incorrect. It did triple.
It did triple. Now we've lost money.
And then it did something quite different.
Yeah, it did. It did. It's bottom lining at the moment, isn't it?
Well, it's a spread bet, isn't it,
Yeah.
with crypto?
Yeah,
That's
it
how
is.
people make the most
But
of it.
we did it for a laugh anyway.
Of course.
But you know what I was going to say? We've had such success with my Between the Spreadsheets show, and our viewers have doubled every week for 3 months. So now we're up to like 9 viewers, and so we're going to be introducing that. We've got our new premises, and remember, if you've got any chairs, do bring them, or you want to come to an event, bring a chair with you and bring coffee with you. But we've got a friend of mine who is very, very good and experienced and knowledgeable on both crypto and the stock market. So he's not going to give you any buy this, buy that, but he'll tell you how things are performing. So that's quite interesting, isn't it, Hayden? So we'll be filming that after Christmas.
And there will be events as well, because we have the space for many people now.
Well, everyone that's been into, we've taken this room, we've painted it black. So I'm not sure when people come in and say, wow, it's because it's all black, or whether it's because it's a decent size.
Wait till they see it when I put all the bin bags down on the floor and all the the rubber aprons and the hooks on the wall. They're gonna love it.
You've done a lot of putting bin bags on the floor from a previous life, haven't you?
Well, it's easy to clean up, isn't it? You got to think about these things.
Mr. Gox died.
You did mention.
I did. Mr. Gox is a hamster, and he was used to predict which cryptocurrency they should buy. So basically, they had him running around, those little wheels, and then they'd have when he stopped, it would come up with whichever crypto the pointer went to, and then they had 2 doors, and if he chose the buy or sell door, that's exactly what they did. And the company that utilised him actually had a performance level of 20% better than the experts.
Well, wasn't there that Octopus that used to predict the football scores?
I vaguely remember something like that.
Yeah, passed away, but he was remarkably accurate.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe many of these experts on gambling and betting
Well, maybe they
have
just
a lower success rate than invertebrates and sea life and things. Perhaps there's not so much of a science behind it.
Yeah. Well, it's also, unlike Graham, they probably use the hamsters in the right way. I'm just
We
putting
shouldn't
that
be
out there.
nasty to Graham. He's poorly.
Oh, he's just a whiny
And think
wimpy.
about how tough it is for him, because next week people will tune in and say, but where's the handsome guy with the amazing voice gone? Why does the box now contain this shrieking Mancunian? It's a terrible thing for him. It's a lot to live up to.
He makes me look good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the, you have people that are so high up and you look up to them and you aspire to them. And then you've got, well, I couldn't sink that low, could I? So thank you for that, Graham. It all helps. He can't defend himself. Is he not typing in?
He's probably just not watching. He was typing before. He was complaining about the language he used at the top of the show, because apparently that'll destroy our reach.
What do you mean?
I don't know, but has he never watched Trigger Warning when he's been on it? I mean, our reach.
We were I just mentioned people are high up, and you look at them. What do you think of having a mentor these days? I mean, I look around at lots and lots of small businesses, and I find very few people that run businesses are stupid or incapable. I think it's quite the opposite. I think a lot of people that run small businesses are very sharp, but they're not always knowledgeable in the ways of the business world, or what they should or shouldn't do. And I think sometimes having a mentor can really, really put them on the map. They can really, really help. And even if they're not teaching, even if the mentors aren't teaching you anything, at least you've got a situation where they're making sure you do things. Because as we all know, success in business is a bit of a checklist. You need what they say. You need a compass and you need a clock, because you need to know where you're going, what direction you're going in, and you need to make sure things are done by a certain time. And procrastination is an awful thing in small business. But mentors are quite good. There's a lot of companies that offer coaching facilities. I don't, simply because we're too busy keeping people on the track with bookkeeping and accountancy type work and keeping the tax bill down. But you've got a lot of companies that do this, and if anybody wants a coach, there are people around me that I can introduce you to. But I think now more than ever that the world's getting more and more complicated, and the world's getting more and more difficult to navigate through, and there's more and more demands on your time and attention. I think a mentor can be of great value. Do you think a mentor could have helped you, Hayden?
How? Can't improve on perfection.
No, but maybe you can direct it to be in more places.
Yeah, because I do as I'm told. I'm very good at that. You know yourself, I respond very well to all kinds of approaches.
I know.
I'm very flexible.
I do as I'm told. If I had a mentor, my problem is finding someone that knows more than me. But if I had someone...
what are they going to mentor me in?
Well, like now.
My life makes no sense.
Because we're expanding Accounts Direct.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of people that are guiding me. And
and do you know what? They're amazing.
Yeah.
What you say, did I want to what would they guide me to do? They would last 10 minutes with me, if that. I would have them in tears. How can you my life is chaotic. My hopes, dreams and ambitions make no sense to normal people.
I would write about it and then laugh at it later. I would. I'd say Hayden's life is so chaotic. Do you hear what you did last night? Oh God, Hayden.
Wait, I don't exist in normal business.
Well, because you don't follow rules, you don't have controls. And I think one of the downfalls of business in general is they don't put controls out. So because they've got no feedback controls, no measurement, they can drift a bit. A mentor might help people to stop drifting, because they can say, no, do this, do that. It's like quite. We have rules and procedures and things that we do, and if we don't do them, it's in my head, I remember. But you don't remember. And it only takes one or two breakdowns that everything becomes chaotic.
And you're 100% correct.
Of course I am.
But of course, I would be more interested in how wealthy is the mentor? How quickly can I get them drunk and get compromising photographs of said mentor?
And blackmail them.
Well, then I'm earning a living. So we've all got something out
but
of
now
deal.
you're going down Graham's way.
No. I wouldn't touch them once I'd got them drunk. Just get photos of them touching other people once.
You're taking the show somewhere else.
You invited me on. This is your problem. Yeah, like I don't come with baggage.
But no, I do think having a mentor is important, and you can't always measure a mentor by how much money they've got, because sometimes that's not their focus. Remember what I said the other week? A business isn't really just about making money. They have to make money to achieve what the real goals of the business are, and I think sometimes even just setting the goals puts you on target to achieving them. I think you definitely need controls and systems and software that can manage it all for you, and of course I'm always encouraging that type of thing. So that's what I wanted to mention. But now I'm going to mention Black Friday. You know, have you been queuing up for televisions that were 20% dearer than they were 6 months ago, but you think they're half price or a quarter of the price?
Lower myself.
I sort of, years ago, I used to like before Black Friday, when we had these special Christmas, New Year
the
sales.
New Year's sales were magnificent back
And
in
people
the day.
used to queue outside. They used to camp outside.
But you got bargains then.
Yeah,
Real ones.
I think now, because I was in the business, I used to buy and sell stock, and I know that you put it in as it's a sale. You get all the stuff that you can't sell, or all the stuff that you've not had on the shelves for a while, or all your crap, and you have one TV that's usually £500 and you sell it for £50, but you've only got one.
That's the old auction technique. Buy what's in this box.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have
honestly,
to say though, Black Friday, Amazon Black Friday deals are genuinely very good.
do you know, every time I see Amazon or these big firms going at Black Friday or Christmas sales, my stomach churns because I just don't believe them.
Here's what matters to me. I got 2 pieces of equipment pretty much for the price of one because of Black Friday deal.
Well, that's good as a consumer, but as a business, I don't like sales. I really, really don't like sales, especially when they're engineered sales. Because, I mean, I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I dealt with this lady who used to deal in designer brands for children. And, you know, there was a very good markup, and she was building up a clientele. And all of a sudden, she had this bright idea to have a sale. And she pretty much sold pretty much everything she wanted. But she sold it at such a discount that she didn't, she might as well have just not had the sale, sold less stock, and should have made more money. But then what happened, which was even worse, is that people began to expect that this stuff was sold through sales. So people wouldn't come into the shop. During the year when there was no sale on, she didn't get any customers. People waited more and more for the sales. So people were only buying the sales. Not like my Melanie that waits for a sale to end before she goes and buys it, but this is sales. It's not a good way to conduct business. Playing with the price might have short-term advantages. Buy one get one free. Well, all people are doing is stocking up more, and then so they don't come back as quick. So it's a short-term economy to get cash in. So I wouldn't advise sales. If you get your target market right, you get your marketing right, and you get your pricing right, you don't need to put sales on. You just keep moving your stock, and when it stops selling, move into something else. That's my attitude, and I don't know what you think.
I always just thought sales were genuinely a way of getting rid of the absolute crap.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to do.
That's what they are. That's to me, that's always how I saw them. Because if something was doing well, why would you sell it?
Well, exactly. So unless your business you're desperate for cash flow, or you want to get rid of some crap, why would you buy? I mean, there's always a genuine bargain. There's always that person that thinks they've got a bargain, and that's great. That's the idea. Let the public buy and make sure that you've got your costings right.
100%.
So I just don't like the word sales. I think it demeans a business. I think it makes it less valued in the eyes of the consumer. So unless that's what you want a swag shop, that's fine. I read another article about Elon Musk. What apparently, and it doesn't matter whether it's Elon or it's one of the myths surrounding Elon, but the concept is good. Well, I don't know, see what you think. If he sends out a memo or he sends out some work to be done by one of his managers, and they come back and they don't do it, his attitude is, if you don't do it, tell me why you've not done it, because I'm not infallible. I might be wrong. You might have a better idea, but either do it, tell me why you don't want to do it or can't do it, or give me your resignation. What do you think, Hayden?
Oh, that's perfectly reasonable.
I do, because quite often you can have, people saying, let's have your, do this job, and either don't do it, and then you sort of forgive it, or, think, well, it's going to be hard to replace them, or this and that. But 2 years later, this person will still be...
still doing the same thing. But I think when you look at that one, there's only 3 or 4 reasons anyway. There's A, you can't do it.
Yep.
B, you think you shouldn't do it, so then you're supposed to take it to them. C, you couldn't do it at that moment for a very valid reason.
Yep.
or D, you couldn't be asked.
Well, this is it. But it's a good. I mean, it's not Elon Musk. He might have said this, but it's a concept in business
Most of
anyway.
these things just get
Genuine people, though,
attributed to it.
yeah, but well, yeah, why not? But generally, people who are capable will either do it or tell you why they can't do it or shouldn't be doing it. If you don't get that, is it? Are those the people you should be working with?
No.
I mean, I sent one of our guys last night. I sent a sort of email over to him. It's about a particular client, and this morning I got an extremely snotty email back to me showing absolute contempt for this particular situation and telling me why we shouldn't be doing this. I've got nothing but respect for that memo. It wasn't making excuses. It was just telling me the way things are and the cost effectiveness and the headache and everything else. And really, this person should be reprimanded rather than pandered to. And he's absolutely right, because this sort of behaviour can't go on now. So, make sure you get the right feedback from people. People, just because they don't agree with you, it doesn't mean say that they're wrong. This is how we learn. So I'm going to cross that off because I quite like that little comment. And we've already covered that.
Anyone that disagrees with me is actually wrong.
Yes, I've learned that.
Yes, that's just how it works.
Yeah, and it's not worth the discussion to prove that you've anything else.
Oh no, because I will not stop.
No,
at any
no,
point.
No. But while we're talking about you, do you know that there's a nasal vaccine for Alzheimer's in trials in Boston?
Oh,
could be interesting.
I didn't know that, but they're working on a few interesting things at the moment. But that's dementia's a massive and
it's horrible
problem.
It destroys everybody around you.
Oh, it's an evil thing. It's
it
what
is.
happened to my wife's mum and various others. And
we've all got stories.
The idea of a nasal spray to combat it is fantastic.
There's so much. This is one of the things I love about the science world, the medical science, bioscience, all of this type of thing. It doesn't even have to be just medical, but there's foundations going on. I mean, I'd love to support some of these things, but they're so speculative. But what I think where people could support science and the advancement of science for human benefit is by looking at where there's perhaps an angle for you to get involved in, maybe being an agent for these things or selling it. I'm not advocating that you should go ahead and start donating funds into a foundation or a charity that I would set up. I don't really want to do it that way. I would rather say, you know what, I found this firm that's got it's quite a good bit of technology. Using my infrastructure, I could probably introduce that as a product, or let me talk to this company. So these, I mean, at the moment, I know that there's drugs, I know that there's things out there that can make people's lives easier, but they're not reaching the general population. And they're not reaching it because these scientists are clever, but they're not very good at selling, and they're not very good at business. Your average market trader knows how to sell, probably knows a lot more about business than the scientists, and there's no reason why we can't all work together and things like that. All you have to do is go on crowdfunding and all these type sites and see something you fancy. You don't have to chip in any money to them, but if you think you can add that as a range of your products, or even you can get involved with promoting this or using it, or even a separate idea, there's nothing to stop you contacting these people. And again, it's something that I'm always happy to talk to people about if they've got these ideas, because these days there's not only opportunity for you to be ahead of the game, even if you've got a news agent or an off license, there's things coming up all the time, little things that would be great. So just get online, just go and look at crowdfunding, or if you've got a sort of like leaning towards something, I'm very happy to talk to you about it and see if we can come up with some contacts and get this working for you. So again, I love science, I love for the betterment of mankind, but I don't believe that funding should just come from opening your wallet and giving them a few quid. I think maybe get involved and find a way that you can commercialise what they're doing, and that's got to be good for you. Do you know something again with science? I was reading an article that they've come up with this molecule that is odourless, but if you sniff it, apparently they can control whether it makes you more aggressive or more passive. I mean, so they're controlling people by smell. But they've done that for years, haven't they? You walk into a restaurant or you walk into a shop and you can smell fresh bread, or you can smell things. So there's lots of things nudging us all the time in the commercial world. Hey, remember there used to be adverts, or are you too young, where they put subliminal, very fast shots of goods and services?
That's actually illegal now.
Oh, it's illegal, yeah. But
it wasn't back then. But it's illegal now to do.
Yeah.
Even though there's actually no evidence that subliminal images actually work.
Yeah.
It was deemed.
I think it worked on me because I still crave Mars bars. And I think it's all because of all the subliminal advertising I was subjected to as a child.
Not that I want to drag you down or anything, but that would be easier to explain away if you weren't such a fan of many other chocolate bars.
Yeah, well, I think it led to that. I think it led an addiction to chocolate.
What it is. Okay.
And
yes.
meatballs.
Yes. But no, the smell thing in most supermarkets, the smell of baked bread, of course, has nothing to do with baking bread.
No.
It's a chemical.
Yes. Yes, but it's the way they manipulate it. Science is now this is the darker end,
if you want to sell your house, brew a pot of fresh coffee.
Yeah, or apple pie on the windowsill.
Yeah, and fresh flowers and things like that. It's all very evocative.
But this goes true of shops as well, isn't it? And places of business. If you make a place more inviting for people, they're more likely to come in. And if you make it more inviting for them to stay, you know, I mean, this is why you should do things. I mean, I think was Woolworths the first firm that actually put toilets in the place back in the 1800s.
I know one of my favourite music shops in Manchester to go in was A1 Music back in the day. It's obviously long gone now, but it was down at the.
Why did you like it?
Because you could go in, the manageress there, Anne, was really strict and awful, but the staff were, she wasn't awful, but she was very strict, but the staff were great.
Yeah.
You could smoke, you could eat, you can get drinks while you were there, you'd hang out. It was a music shop, that's how they should be.
Well, it should.
And they got it right.
Well, it's like, I think it was Woolworths, I'm not sure if it was, but they only put toilets in because they realised it made people shop longer. So
you're not rushing home, are you, for a week?
No, so this is why you should do things. I mean, I'm happy walking into a shop that doesn't throw me out or lets me in. So you've got that as well. But
know you with open arms, aren't there?
No, it's not me.
Know you by name.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, I'm actually, I'm a really good customer. I walk into places, I just say I'll have that, and I pay for it, and I'll queue if I have to. I'm just so easygoing. But then again, I don't really like shopping.
No, but I wasn't referring to shops where you purchase items other than an edible variety.
Are you calling me fat?
I'm not calling you fat.
You're implying that I'm fat.
No, I don't have to imply that you're fat.
Did I mention before when we were talking about crypto that the Bitcoin is probably going to reduce the transactions for banks by about 20%?
You're only bringing this up to annoy me, aren't you?
Why does that annoy you?
I hate Bitcoin. I hate the idea of it. I hate everything about it.
You hate banks as well. So if it takes
Not
money...
as much as I hate the idea of being told what I can spend my money on when I finally get my hands on it.
Do you know what people are going to promote that it will lower the banking charges because most of the transactions will be able to be dealt with directly with the Bank of England.
And the best part is that that will not stop them shafting you for money regardless.
That's right. They'll find other ways to put the prices up.
Their profits will be far better, but it won't be passed on. It never is.
No.
Now we have gas prices going up, so we're suffering for that, but we didn't benefit when they dropped.
Never will.
No, it's like landlords have been putting rent up year on year. When was the last interest rate hike? To explain that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always the same.
Yeah, well, they've got other expenses. I've got a quote of the day from Graham.
Oh.
I neither have the time nor the crayons.
He's got both.
He's probably got crayons a lot more than he's got the time.
He's got both.
But can he use the crayons?
He eats them.
I was thinking of another sort of orifice that they go into.
No, he eats crayons.
Yeah, he's very upset because shoppers are going to struggle because of the strikes. It's looking like there's going to be less alcohol being delivered.
Oh, no.
There's going to be a shortage of alcohols over Christmas, so you need to go and buy them all now.
He can just go and make his own again. He's done that before now.
Do you know what I believe? Do you believe? Because it's
Father Christmas.
Well, do you know Father Christmas?
Personally.
You've heard of Father Christmas?
Yes.
Have you heard of Father Hanukkah?
No.
He's the one that supplies Father Christmas.
He's the wholesaler.
He's the wholesaler. You know. I'm a great believer in lifetime education. I think that we've all got to keep learning, studying, you know, just doing stuff, new experiences, new goals, new ideas, new everything. You know, we don't have to be mad into it. But there's a firm, there's a guy called Matt Jones, and he set up a company called Oxbridge. And this is not a government regulated site, but they've got some courses, GCSEs, A levels, you know, just sort of courses, and they're not particularly expensive, and they seem to be gearing for adults. And they've even got a course on it for becoming a financial advisor. So I think the more you have a skill. I mean, at the end of the day, I set up this business on the back of, I was an accountant, but it was on the back of just some software that made incomplete records for people, because a lot of small businesses had at the time incomplete records, and this made it easier just to process. So I built a production line over that, and I think just sometimes, I mean, I know people that have got businesses going on the back of one thing, like maybe will writing, which is based on some software, but sometimes having some knowledge behind you can escalate your business. Like I know, I mean, I mentioned being a financial advisor because I remember a guy that used to run a pub, and I'm not sure if he still runs the pub, but he became a financial advisor on the side, and he had this stream of people coming through the pub that a lot became his customer as a financial advisor. I've not seen him for a while. I think he might have retired a few years ago, but it's all there. If you've got a business that's bringing in people, then, and you're building relationships with people, and there's so many other things you can introduce to them. It's you know, and you're actually doing them a favour. I know people that are just making a living just introducing products and services to people. You know, well, what do you need? Oh, you've got that problem. Have you tried this? And everybody wins out. I like things like that. So it's called Oxbridge. Again, I've never met Matt Jones. I don't know anything about them. I just saw online that they do these courses. I might have even got a spam thing from them. And I noticed in the paper the other day that there was just an article about him. So I thought that was quite useful to bring up. We're coming to the end of the show, aren't we, Hayden? It's gone relatively peacefully, hasn't it? Everything's been calm.
It's been really lovely in here. Although I do miss Graham, because I do enjoy watching, you know, somebody stress out a lot. And
we'll come back. We'll have him back next week.
He's very highly strung. Hopefully he feels better. Hope you feel much better, Graham.
Well, we don't really care whether he feels better, as long as he's able to work.
I do. For all the people. He's
we love Graham here, don't we?
He's my friend. I worry about him.
I worry about him as well. I worry about people around him and what he might do.
He's poorly. We
don't want him. Well, do we want him poorly? We want him a little bit of pain.
No, fighting fit like a butcher's dog.
Like a butcher's dog.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, he's 40 now. You've seen the state of him. He's not got longer butcher's dogness.
He would love this one. Do you know that? Have you heard of the investment firm Apollo in America?
I haven't, no.
Oh, they're a big investment firm. And they were looking at maybe into buying Marks and Spencer's. You know, all through COVID and all through the last year or so, they've been sniffing around them and discussing about taking them over. But now they're not too keen because Marks and Spencer's are doing a lot better.
Yes, they've had an uptick. I saw that on the news.
Yeah. So they're not that interested in buying them out at the moment. So it just shows you, if you manage to turn your business around, do really, really well, people won't want you.
It almost seems unfair, doesn't it?
It does. Except, you know, when you feel those times that no one's interested in what you do, no one cares, no one even sees you. Just remember that HMRC are always watching. They care. They really do. In fact, you know that they've got this new office block in Newcastle that is just it's the biggest let ever, and there's over 9,000 people moving into it, all for HMRC.
People.
Yeah. That's a lot of tax people, isn't it? It's a lot of people watching you. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, everyone calls HMRC, but I find that the people
I've never called HMRC in any way, shape,
well, you've
or
never
form.
had any dealings with them, have you?
Oh, gosh, no.
But people do call them, but at the end of the day, if you listen to what they say, they actually give a very lot of sensible business.
Oh, I get their
advice.
newsletter, and everything they tell you are
It's
exactly
sensible,
the
isn't it?
ways of not getting into trouble. Everything they tell you is a way of avoiding meeting them.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. But also they send out a lot of very practical, sensible business advice as well.
Well, they do. And if you follow the laws, they I know it can be a bit difficult sometimes, especially if you have an emergency, but they're not as bad as you think.
But also the way most people I know, do you mean the guidelines?
The guidelines,
the suggestions.
They're not laws, are they? They're just guidelines. Yeah. Do you know what? There'll be some people watching this and say, "Oh, right, okay." I don't need to. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's certainly been a lot more peaceful today. Is it a lot more peaceful or peacefuler?
Definitely peacefuler.
It's been a lot more peacefuler tonight. So I'd like to wish you an evening, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me. Good night.